We were usually working with HMS Broadsword. She was a Type 22 frigate. She had a close-in weapon system called Seawolf. It's a point defense system. It was before the phalanx gun was bought by the British government for real close-in weapons. And again, we worked well with the broadsword. We had a few times that when we were working together north of the islands, we would track incoming air raids and get a radar contact and let loose with our Seawolf, with our Sea Dart system, and we'd take out the aircraft. The radar room where I was primarily working was 2 decks down and about 60 feet aft of the missile launcher. You couldn't hear the machinery working when the missiles were taken from the magazine onto the launcher, but when those missiles were fired, there's a bang and a whoosh as it went off, and oh God, what's that? What's happening? Because all we could see was a radar picture. We had no visual. The people on the upper deck and on the bridge, they had all the visuals. It was interesting, to say the least. The landings took place on May 21st in San Carlos Water, also known as Bomb Alley. It's an inlet in Falkland Sound, which is the piece of water between the East Falkland and West Falkland. And intelligence suggested that this would be the best place to land the British troops, because the main defences of the Argentine were around Stanley, the capital, which was the goal, to liberate Stanley. So the further it would be a long walk or helicopter ride for the ground troops, but there would be a lot less chance of the enemy having troops out there where the troops where British troops were landing. And they had very limited anti-aircraft weapons outside of Stanley. Goose Green had a few anti-aircraft guns, and around Stanley and at the airfield at Stanley. There had no long-range weapons on the islands, apart from bastardized exocet missiles. They were taken off a ship in Argentina, put on the back of a truck, and positioned just south of the airport. But that was it. Their main threat to us was aircraft. There had been several ships damaged by bombs. The bombs did not explode because they'd been dropped too low. And so the winding mechanism of the fuse didn't have time to fully arm. So it's just like dropping a 500-pound or 1,000-pound brick. Yes, the ships were damaged, people were injured during the bomb disposal procedure. Occasionally a bomb would go off and the bomb disposal, at least 2 were killed while that happened. HMS Antelope blowing up in the middle of the night is an iconic picture of the whole war. Unfortunately, the media that were with the task force, they mentioned this in their reports, and then the BBC, in their ultimate wisdom, decided to air the fact that the bombs were being dropped too low, so they didn't have time to arm. They could have been done. They could have been tried for treason. That's aiding and abetting an enemy. But nothing happened. Freedom of the press and all that BS. So after Argentina had heard all this on the BBC World Service, they thought, oh, we'd better do something about that, and adapted the bombs and the fuse mechanisms so that they would explode, having been dropped at a lower height. When we were hit, we took three bombs, 2 of which exploded. 4th bomb hit HMS Broadsword right back out on the fantail, bounced off the water, in through the side of the ship, up through the flight deck, wrecking Link's helicopter, and then carried on into the sea on the other side of the ship. But we had intelligence reports saying aircraft had left air bases in Argentina and were heading towards the Falkland Islands. The captain came up on the 1MC, the main broadcast, saying, "This is what's happening, and we'll go to action stations at 1800 that evening." It's May 25th. I was just preparing to go for a shower before going back on watch at 2000, 8 p.m. So, well, I'm not going to go for a shower now. I've got 20 minutes to shower and maybe get something to eat before going on watch again. So I put my washing gear away and grabbed all my life jacket and so on. And I walked, as most people did, walked to my action station, which was up on the bridge. So the guy I was relieving could go to his action station and not be rushed about it. And then that was then at 1800. The alarm sounded, and we went to the action stations. And 1815, the aircraft were spotted by us on the bridge, coming in very fine on the port bow, and then that was it. We saw the aircraft come in very low. Brave pilots, very brave pilots. They were flying maybe 25 feet above the water. Yeah, they were that low. We got the order to take cover, so we just hit the deck, hands over the back of our heads, and then stand to. We stood up, and the aircraft was passing the side of the ship, and I was looking down at the pilot, and I was at about 40 feet, 35 to 40 feet above the waterline. And I was looking down at the pilot. All the aircraft that took part in that raid made it home. I believe they're all shot down and the pilots killed later on during the war. Because this was May 25th, and the surrender happened on June 14th. So, 3 weeks, and the fighting went on for 3 weeks after we were hit. But yes, I believe that all the aircraft were eventually shot down, but not on that raid. They all got away. The ship turned upside down in about 25 to 30 minutes. It was very fast. I slid down the side of the ship into the water and swam to a life raft, and then I was dragged into the life raft. And the ship we were working with, the broadsword, had launched her boats, and we were that close to land that the land forces in San Carlos water, they were alerted that we'd been hit, so they sent helicopters. And I was probably in the life raft for maybe an hour, maybe not that long. It seemed a lot longer. And I got winched out of the life raft. It's my first ever ride in a helicopter, and then deposited on the forecastle of broadsword. Most of our crew got off. We lost 19 that day, 19 killed. 17 remain on the ship to this day. What we call they're on eternal patrol. 2 got off, but they subsequently died of their injuries in the water.